Let's rewind to 2012 when Samsung dropped the Galaxy S3, a phone that felt like it arrived from the future. The hype was real. As the successor to the Galaxy S2, it was more than just another phone. It was an event. Unboxing it, you'd find the essentials: phone, charger, headphones, and a separate battery. Something that feels almost alien today. Snapping in the battery and popping on the plastic back gave you a sense of control over your device. Lifting the S3, you'd notice how light it was, almost toy-like compared to the iPhone's metal and glass. But that lightness made it comfortable for all-day use, and Samsung was clearly forging its own path. Booting up, you were greeted by a vibrant Super AMOLED screen, colors that popped like nothing else at the time. The nature-inspired jingle and cohesive Inspired by Nature theme made the experience feel fresh and different. The S3 wasn't just a spec bump, it was Samsung's declaration that they were here to innovate and lead. It was a phone that made you feel like you were holding the future. The design choices, from the removable battery to the lightweight build, set it apart from the competition. Samsung wasn't copying Apple, they were making a statement. The S3 was about options, features, and user empowerment. It was a bold move, and it paid off. The first impression, this wasn't just a tool, it was an experience. The S3 set the tone for what a flagship Android could be. It was a phone that made you excited to see what was next. The Galaxy S3 was more than a device, it was a moment. The S3's design was a radical shift. Gone were the sharp edges of the S2, replaced by smooth, organic curves inspired by water and pebbles. It fit naturally in your hand, despite its large 4.8-inch screen. The pebble blue and marble white finishes reinforced the nature theme, with the blue's subtle shimmer standing out. Samsung's hyperglazed plastic back was flexible and practical, even if some called it cheap. The removable back meant you could swap batteries or add a micro SD card, freedom that's rare today. Compared to today's glass and metal slabs, the S3 felt light and almost playful. But that plastic build had real-world durability. Drop it, and you just snap the pieces back together. Modern phones might feel premium, but the S3 was built for everyday life. The design wasn't about luxury, it was about usability. Samsung wanted the S3 to feel approachable, not intimidating. The colors and curves made it stand out in a sea of black rectangles. It was a phone you could use without worrying about shattering it. The S3's design was practical, human, and refreshingly different. It was a statement that tech could be both advanced and accessible. The S3's look and feel were as much about comfort as they were about style. It was a design that invited you to pick it up and use it every day. In 2012, the S3's specs were top tier. The 4.8-inch HD Super AMOLED display was a showstopper. Vivid colors, deep blacks, and a true HD experience in your pocket. Under the hood, you got either a quad-core Exynos or dual-core Snapdragon, both blazing fast for the time. 1 GB of RAM enabled smooth multitasking, apps opened instantly, and switching between them was seamless. The removable 2100 mAh battery was a power user's dream. Swap it out and keep going. Expandable storage via microSD meant you were never short on space. The 8MP rear camera delivered sharp, colorful photos, with features like burst mode for action shots. The front camera made video calls and selfies better than ever. The S3 could handle gaming, productivity, and media without breaking a sweat. It was a phone built for performance, not just looks. The combination of screen, power, battery, and camera was unmatched. The S3 set a new standard for what a flagship could deliver. It was the phone to beat in 2012. Every spec felt like a leap forward. The S3 was a powerhouse that redefined expectations. The S3 launched with Android Ice Cream Sandwich, but quickly upgraded to Jelly Bean, ushering in Project Butter for silky smooth performance. Animations and scrolling felt fluid, finally putting Android on par with iOS for polish. Samsung's TouchWiz Nature UX, layered on a unique personality, dandelion wallpapers, water ripple lock screens, and nature-inspired sounds. The interface was colorful, bubbly, and packed with customization options. Widgets, toggles, and features were everywhere. Samsung's philosophy was to give users everything, even if it felt a bit crowded. Compared to today's minimalist Android, TouchWiz now looks busy and dated, but back then, it was feature-rich and fun. The nature theme was everywhere, making the phone feel alive and distinct. TouchWiz got flack for being bloated, but it gave the S3 a memorable identity. The water ripple lock screen became iconic. The S3's software was ambitious, aiming to give Android a soul. It wasn't just a skin, it was an experience. Samsung wanted the S3 to feel personal, not generic. The software was as bold as the hardware. Even if it hasn't aged perfectly, it was unforgettable. The S3's software made it stand out in a crowded market. The S3 was packed with smart features. Some hits, some misses. SmartStay used the front camera to keep the screen on if you were looking at it. A clever idea, though not always reliable. Pop-up play let you watch videos in a floating window while multitasking, true innovation at the time. S-Voice, Samsung's answer to Siri, was ambitious but clunky. Most people tried it once and moved on. Motion controls let you mute calls by flipping the phone or call contacts by lifting it to your ear, some genuinely useful, others forgettable. Samsung's approach was to throw in every feature imaginable and see what stuck. Not everything worked perfectly, but there was always something new to discover. The S3 felt endlessly capable, even if some features were more gimmick than game-changer. It was a phone that pushed boundaries, not afraid to experiment. The smart features made the S3 feel futuristic, even if they weren't all practical. Samsung's kitchen sink philosophy meant you were never bored. The S3 was about more than specs, it was about possibilities. Some features paved the way for future innovations. Even the misses showed Samsung's willingness to take risks. The S3's features made it a phone you wanted to explore. The Galaxy S3 was a game-changer, selling over 70 million units and cementing Samsung as Apple's true rival. Its big screen, powerful hardware and feature-packed software set a new bar for Android flagships. It forced the industry to evolve, making more is more the mantra of the era. Looking back, some things haven't aged well. The plastic build, glossy finish and busy TouchWiz now feel dated. But the removable battery, expandable storage and headphone jack are features many still miss. The S3 was practical, durable, and user-friendly. A workhorse, not a showpiece. It was a phone that tried to be everything for everyone, and mostly succeeded. The S3's legacy is one of ambition and innovation. It was bold, experimental, and defined what an Android flagship could be. While some features seem quaint now, its impact is undeniable. The S3 was a revolutionary relic, a classic that shaped the smartphone world. It's a reminder of when phones were fun, flexible, and full of surprises. The Galaxy S3 deserves its place in tech history.